Greetings, assalamu alaikum from Marrakesh, the original land of Islam in the West. I'm introducing you to Ahmad Deeb, 2020 graduate of Bayan, Claremont. Ahmad first came to my notice in class when he pulled me aside to ask me a question. I think it was about custom urf. I think Ahmad does that a lot, by the way. Pulls you aside to ask the teacher a question. He kind of approaches knowledge like it's a friend he wants to make a really long-term relationship with, and he sort of uses all his teachers as like strategy in getting to know this new friend really, really well. Anyway, it's inspiring. So he asked a question about custom, and we had a really interesting conversation, and then many conversations after that, very thoughtful and very contemplative, to the point where I always came away learning something myself or thinking again about a topic. And so it's really interesting to see how he's working through, like many Bayan graduates, the questions of urf and other issues about Islam in the West, in the United States. And I've been really inspired and amazed at the kind of work that how he's worked that out over time. For example, about a year ago, I ran across his Facebook feed where he said that he had invited this band, the Birds of Chicago, to play at his masjid, at the mosque in Toledo, where he is now the Imam. Apparently, Birds of Chicago had mentioned his mosque in a song, and he invited them to play. And I just thought that was so amazing. I mean, talk about American urf and custom and integrating all of this to a moment of learning and connection. And this is what he wrote in his Facebook post introducing that. He says, "Success is when our mosques and institutions become cultural symbols native to their land. Symbols that reflect the most beautiful part of that land authentically and actually serve those around them by formulating loving, honest relationships." I think he's making a pretty good friend with that knowledge thing, and I think he's going to do all of us proud. Congratulations, Ahmed, and to all of Bayan 2020 graduates. May your futures be as fragrant as the jasmine right next to you. Congratulations. Mabruk.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the most merciful, the most kind. My name is Ahmad Deeb, and I'll be graduating this year, God willing, with my Master's in Islamic Studies and Leadership from Bayan Islamic Graduate School. I cannot express the amount of joy and sadness that I feel in this moment. Bayan was one of the greatest things that has happened to me, and one of the hardest things to let go of. I was just a wanderer in Istanbul, Turkey, searching for a graduate study opportunity after having graduated seminary in Cape Town, South Africa, when a beautiful brother approached me and said that they were looking for a leader at their masjid, and they would be happy to support me in studying at an institution called Bayan, Claremont. This was the first time I had ever heard of Bayan, and yet I'm so grateful for having studied there and taking that decision, because it was one of the greatest decisions I'd ever taken. What I've learned at Bayan has been invaluable. Bayan has taught me that truly knowledge is from the cradle to the grave, a long, never-ending, beautiful process of learning, and one that does not merely consist of reading, writing, and research, but one that also consists of an engagement, a munadhara, a concept so beautifully shown to us in Dr. Asif Qureshi's class, that knowledge is a dialectic with fellow classmates, truth seekers, knowledge enthusiasts, spiritual leaders, and maybe some of us who were looking for an excuse to hang out in California, which I certainly enjoyed. I learned that knowledge, while it can be the most beautiful and enjoyable end in and of itself, ultimately knowledge is about application. As one of the greatest scholars in the Muslim tradition, Imam al-Ghazali, has stated, knowledge without application is equivalent to a type of lunacy or madness. That knowledge is about application first and foremost in the rectification and the reformation of one's individual self, but also in their service to humanity and in their rectification of the society within which they live. I've also learned that you will crash after 7 Nutri-Grain bars and 2 cups of coffee in one day. And yet, the staff always made sure that the needs of the students were taken care of and that they always had snacks and coffee ready to endure the long hours of learning at our intensives. And so first, I would like to thank the staff for their commitment and service to the students, from Besma to Cesar, those who are in the background, making sure people hear about Bayan and making sure the needs of the students are met, no matter how seemingly insignificant. To my dear, dear friend, Sheikh Fuad al-Guhari, who was the first to tell me about Bayan, and it was through his kindness and through his approach and through his humility that inspired me to join this great institution, because I knew that leadership this exemplary means that this institution will be amazing. To Munir Sheikh, who has been a mentor and an advisor, who is someone that I believe truly knows everything. I can always walk into his office, ask him about a topic or a concept, and he can tell me, well, here are 1,000 authors that have written about it, and let me re-articulate your concept to you in a way far more eloquent. And yet he does it with such humility, truly the backbone of this amazing institution, and one of the greatest people that I've had the pleasure to know and to meet. And of course, Imam Jihad Turk, without whom most of this would not be possible. He's truly America's Imam, exemplary in both his public and professional life, as well as his private and personal. I'd like to also thank the donors and the sponsors that are behind the scenes supporting this great institution. Without them, we would not have been able to study. So I want to say that you may go unnoticed, but you are not unheard and you are not unfelt. And thank you for your support. I want to thank the instructors for giving us their time and sharing with us their incredible scholarship and being patient with us in our process and journey of learning. I'd like to thank my family for being patient with me throughout these beautiful 4 years. And I'd like to thank another family, the Bayan family, who I know I will have until the day I die, who has they've truly made this experience for me. And some of the greatest human beings I will ever meet in my entire life. They've taught me far more than any book, and I pray that our journeys coincide again. Thank you so much. I'm very, very grateful and forever indebted to this amazing institution and for all I have learned. God bless you all. Wassalamu alaikum.